Oh, here's a funny Comrade Casey post. Then this dev tells into something really interesting. This dude, Comrade Casey, 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 Comrade Casey. Like he's a slick editor. Comrade Casey, Comrade Casey, Comrade Casey. He made a video about the end of Leftovers. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as I generally don't like watching videos like this because it's usually depressing. And it seems to have like a neutral title, but I think everybody noticed as they were watching through it, even Hassan, I think, commented on it, that this video is a little fucking weird.
Pretty much the core of the videos that you became like a debate pervert.
900,000 Jews were forced to become Zionists, not by choice, but because they were forced out. The vast majority went to fucking Arabs. So that's my boy North Star Radio, who is a hidden snark user / obsessive freak making content that is biased against me. And also apparently he hates Jewish people. China sucks. Russia, bullshit. Cuba, overrated. Venezuela, hole. I'm gonna Joseph McCarthy you.
Ethan, I've been sitting on this for a long time. I knew the day would come, and you knew it too. Back on September 11th, 2024, while the nation mourned, you began a journey. Or rather, I sent you on that journey. I uploaded a video that didn't just critique you, it defined you. I laid out point by point how you'd gotten debate pilled without understanding a single concept beyond liberal good, conservative bad. You tried to be a political commentator without doing the reading, without even understanding a single word leaving your mouth.
In Cyprus we have Turkish Cypriots and we have Greek Cypriots. In Ukraine, there are people that they are a lot more pro-Russian, closest to the Donbas region, and also closest to Kiev, they are more pro-Ukrainians. You know that they're a bit oppressed, actually, the Ukrainians that live closer to the Russian borders, because they are forced to have the language of Ukrainian. Everyone speaks Russian there.
There were some pro-Russian sympathizers in Ukraine. I think it's exaggerated how many, but ever since the invasion, that has shifted. Let me finish my point. This whole notion that there's like a ton of Russian supporters in Ukraine, I think is not correct. Okay. Let's do the poll like this.
Stop funding Ukraine or keep funding Ukraine?
Yes, should we let Ukraine fall to Russian tyranny? But that's accurate.
Not like that.
But that's accurate.
No, but this is, but I told you a lot of the people on the sites that they are occupied now, they don't hate the Russians.
I feel like that's hearsay.
Should we keep funding the war? Yes or no?
Should we let Ukraine fall to Russian tyranny?
And in your hubris, you turn those debates inward. You got accustomed to easy wins.
Do you feel that sometimes you argue from emotion rather than like concrete facts? I find that when you talk about, and I've watched a lot of your videos, you say, I feel this to be true. Do you feel you do that a lot or no?
I try. I would say I'm a woman, so sometimes, yeah.
So why should I engage with in a conversation with you at all if women are just emotional? Shouldn't I be talking to a man about this? Don't you feel a little slutty when you walk around with your big biceps out and shit?
I only put on this shirt so that I could show you guys that I work out.
That's a little fucking slutty, bro. Are you looking for validation from people in chat?
I'm just trying to flex on you guys.
But why?
I'm trying to show you guys what's up.
No, but like, you think that it's funny. You think you're being funny, but you actually just totally undermined everything you said. I have a theory for you.
I'm ready.
I think you actually fake having Tourette's. Yeah, I think you actually don't have it.
What did you think I had?
Well, let me just break it down. I think this is kind of a funny thing. I doubt this is what happened, but maybe you just called someone the N-word on the bus, and then you're like, oh, no, I have Tourette's.
And I've always said this, I always respect people who enter into the arena. And, you know, we've had a lot of debates on this show, which is different from like a Change My Mind where we sit down and have conversations. But my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach always said, if you come a switch, we go switch. You go spicy, we're going to do a little spicy. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy.
When you go on these tangents, you go on a rampage, you just ramble and ramble without making any concise point or a question. Is it you're done with that shit? Can we talk like adults now or not?
I think this conversation has kind of been exhausted.
People would rather watch me full screen cam do the fucking worm
Do
than watch
that.
your prime.
Bro,
than watch your
do
prime
it for a
content.
week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, he's crying in the corner.
Beating racists and idiots so effortlessly that you started to believe you could out-debate anyone, even your own podcast co-host.
Golly, last week was the capitalism versus socialism week. But I have to tell you, I want to talk about it more tomorrow because I've been thinking a lot about it.
Great.
Well, that's what Thursday is for, right?
That's what Hassan's there for.
I myself am pretty ignorant on the methods of governing and histories and all that. So I do think this conversation of, I'm not even going to say capitalism because that seems to trigger people. I'm just going to say social democracy. I was actually invigorated by the conversation in that I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I've been thinking about our conversation a lot, and I've been educating myself a lot. I want to better represent my position because I don't really know a lot, and I feel like I've done a lot of research in the week.
What did you do? What did you read? What kind of research did you do?
I had a very in-depth conversation with ChatGPT.
But the moment you faced real pushback, real evidence in the face of your feelings-based arguments, your confidence crumbled. 3 debates, 3 disasters.
If the employee is extremely satisfied,
yeah,
and they feel well provided for, I mean, in a sense, it's like, who are you to tell him he's being exploited? I don't see what's so great and humanizing about hiring a janitor for 0.00015% of the company.
What do you? I don't understand. That's not what I said. You just.
China's not that far from fascism.
It's the same with.
It's like
if
right
China's
there.
not that far from fascism. America is literally 10x the Nazi Germany fascism. Though
I disagree.
You have to admit.
China's closer. Because they have
What?
they have
You
the
said
one.
they built a military, but they haven't even
That's not
fucking
the only
used
thing
it.
I said. I don't think Chinese fascism is better or worse than
Chinese
American fascism. Why is that funny?
What's worse, the violence towards the civilians in apartheid South Africa or the violence of the apartheid regime? You would say the violence of the apartheid regime, right?
I don't know. Did they mass murder 1,500 civilians? This doesn't seem like a small rally, frankly. There's a lot of people out here.
There was some sort of rave or desert party where they were having a great time until the resistance came in electrified hang gliders and took at least several dozen hipsters.
I mean, that's insane, right?
I haven't even. Yeah, okay.
Israel was fighting to defend itself before America gave a fuck about the region. The Jews were fighting to defend themselves and their new place in that area from the very beginning with no help from anybody.
That's not true. They were shipping in weapons.
Have you lived through daily suicide bombs in cafes and bus stops? Or
As a matter of fact, I have. I grew up in Turkey, but that's a different point.
I'm gonna go find a group of black people say the Confederate flag isn't racist. I'm gonna go find.
Ethan, please stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You're,
Don't
no,
do that.
you're being ridiculous. This
No,
point is
Ethan,
fucking
you're making a
absurd,
conflation
bro.
that makes
However
you look
many Jews you can
horrible.
put in
Why
a
don't
room
you
to
see
agree with
this?
you means fucking nothing. If you don't want to hear the perspective, if you don't want to empathize at all with people that find it offensive, then conversing is kind of pointless. And you know I'm not a fucking radical Jew. I'm not even a religious Jew.
No,
I
know.
I have no stake in the game. And this is coming from.
You got your feelings hurt so badly that rather than admit defeat, you dragged the entire show and your friendship down with you. A self-inflicted rage quit. The first phase of your downfall.
I do feel like I'm probably going to pause leftovers for the time being. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's it. And it sounds like a lot of y'all don't want me to talk about it either.
Now, when that video came out, people said I was being dramatic. People said I was stretching. But little did Hassan know. He was feeding the thing that would eat him.
I don't know if it's like that. Like, I don't think it's like that.
But time has a way of vindicating people who know what they're talking about. And from that day forward, you proved me right at every single step.
So you have these terrorists that went and did this horrible attack, and then they retreated back into Gaza. And their bases are under hospitals. They shoot from schools. They embed themselves in the civilian population. They even dress as civilians when they fight. So, like, I guess I don't know what, like, the IDF, just to give them like a plausible road into dealing with that situation, like what does the IDF do from the Israeli perspective?
So today, I'm here to walk you through your crash out. The one I warned about, the one I caused, and the one you were never going to escape.
All I need, my friends. It's so good to see you again. Happy Friday to all of my
Happy Friday.
to all my beloved audience members, to my crew, to my beautiful wife, to my dogs. TGIF.
Your crash out began fittingly on 9/11, a day of disaster. It started when Twitter user WowMao posted about Osama bin Laden, sparking a conversation about how history is understood, or at least how it should be. But you, as always, couldn't handle complexity.
I want to talk about my beef with bin Laden. Now, I made the brave assertion on Instagram, and again, this stems from these TikTok people who are like simping for bin Laden because he was anti-American. Do Americans actually know why bin Laden did all that? Or do they believe he hated that they can vote or something? Well, can you imagine? People started lining up to die on this hill of defending bin Laden.
I quote retweeted the thread with a simple observation. Ethan Klein has never heard of historical analysis.
So the first thing I saw was this dude named Comrade Casey. Comrade Casey says, Ethan Klein has never heard of historical analysis. We can analyze it all we want. That's his literal words. Like, he's just like, I hate Jewish people and I want to kill people who have freedoms, who aren't following Sharia law all the time. And they're like, well, what did he really mean by that?
That was the first time you mentioned me. A moment so small it should have passed unnoticed. But for you, it was the spark that lit the fuse.
Comrade Casey, you bitch-ass weirdo. You look like a weirdo. And I don't hate mustaches, but man, that's a weirdo mustache.
From there, you did what you always do when confronted with a conversation you can't control. You spiraled. You convinced yourself that every socialist engaging in that discussion, every single one, was somehow defending Osama bin Laden, that we were all pro-terrorism. You even circled back to one of your favorite targets, Frogan, because she had the nerve to participate in the conversation like an adult.
Then comes everybody's favorite Hassan moderator, two-time rising star, Frogan. So here I am saying, actually, Osama bin Laden bad. And her response was, this motherfucker never shuts up. Oh my God. This is the girl who was on in Hassan's Discord saying Ethan hates Arabs because I unfollowed her on Twitter. Tankies falling over themselves to defend Osama bin Laden should tell you all you need to know about their movement. You can like give historical analysis, but this guy is literally saying like, wow, are you dumb that he hated us for our freedoms? And it's like, well, he did. I said, this is a Hassan mod telling me, a Jewish man, to shut the fuck up because I dare to say Osama bin Laden was bad and hated Jews. Please understand this is why Leftovers ended and that her voice is not fringed within his community. You know, it's one thing to tell me in private, like, you know, just so you know, like she's just this way and I know that she doesn't mean it and all this kinds of stuff. But like, it's another thing to publicly continue to platform her and also not to address a massive portion of your audience that is just straight up fucking anti-Semitic.
And while you raged, I released my video, Why the H3 Leftovers podcast will never return. A clear, methodical breakdown of why your show had collapsed, why it couldn't return, why your ego and refusal to self-reflect had poisoned everything you touched. But it wasn't until one fateful day, when Ethan Klein and the H3 podcast decided to dive into the deep end of the online sphere of political commentary. That day was the beginning of the end for Steven Crowder.
Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare.
They certainly got Steven Crowder to admit to quite a bit, like running away from past debates with Sam Cedar.
You're so clever. I had no idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today.
He admitted that he followed the show last week.
We got him.
He admitted that he watched the show last week.
We got him. Dude, we played him so hard because he literally was following. He saw that you went live, dude. We got him.
Oh my God, we nailed killed him.
But most of the debate was pretty anticlimactic.
I have a general
This is a
rule.
great
I
opportunity.
don't start a debate based with people on a lie. And how about you get
sabotaging?
How about you get
Steven,
to
show yourself, you coward. Steven, show yourself. Don't show your co-host.
Ethan, you should show yourself.
Ethan, how can you respect yourself as a man, brother?
Steven, you are such a coward. Stop showing your little leprechaun co-host who comes out dressed like your sidekick.
Come on, Ethan, why do you have to bring on a
Show
guy who
Steven.
Despite the debate's disorderly nature, it sparked something in the mind of Ethan, a yearning, a craving. He had one tiny droplet of debate pervertry, and he couldn't go back. Your response was predictable, to say the least. The anger you'd worked up over Bin Laden just days earlier spilled over into your comments about me, guaranteeing you'd only make yourself look worse.
You don't want me to talk about you? Well, don't watch. Because I'm going to. How's that feel, Casey? I'm talking to you right now. Comrade Casey, we're not comrades anymore. I'm coming for all your commie thought. I am coming for China. China sucks. Russia, bullshit. Cuba, overrated. Venezuela, shithole. It's a shame that the democratically elected leader had to go into hiding because of their socialist dictator. Sucks how that always happens. Doesn't it, Comrade Casey? That's right, Casey. It always happens. Every time.
On the very next episode of your podcast, you covered 2 blatant examples of anti-Semitism, but then pivoted to stalking my Reddit history.
Speaking of anti-Semitism, there's a little bit going around. I gotta say, I'm grateful to the subreddit who is actually hearing me when I've been speaking about this recently, because I feel like nobody wants to hear it. And I feel supported by the community, which is nice. Somebody got this on the hood of their car. Every single aspect of the media is Jewish. But then this dev tells into something really interesting. This dude, Comrade Casey, he made a video about the end of leftovers. And you guys are gonna love this because it just keeps happening. It's really something. First of all, shout out to whoever did the ops on this. So anyway, this guy who made this video that's like super weird and biased towards Hassan and is like mega commie, tanky. This guy who runs North Star Radio, Comrade Casey, they found his Reddit account. He's a big Hassan fan and clearly developed a deep hatred for Ethan and Hila since October 7th. In his video, at 7 minutes 50 seconds, he mentions he has already been radicalized by Hassan in 2019 and 2020. It seems to me that this guy is the exact sort of awful person Ethan was talking about that is within Hassan's community. Instead of facing and reflecting on that criticism, he goes on to spotlight this guy's obsessive hatred to his audience. So here's this fucking guy. Ever since November 23, he's been calling Ethan a Zionist, scumbag, genocide, denying IDF simp, Israel defender, amongst many other parasocial insane things. I made an imager album of his H3 snark posts in chronological order and sprinkled in a few of his cringy main subreddit posts too along with it. Once again, I have a policy. If you're gonna post to snark with your face, I'd like to know who you are.
You labeled me an anti-Semite, not because of anything I'd said, and certainly not because of anything in the video itself. You never watched the video, never addressed a single point I made.
I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as him. I generally don't like watching videos like this because it's usually depressing.
But because you needed a scapegoat, someone to absorb the blame you could never accept.
Ethan is a scumbag, genocide-denying, IDF simp, Israel defender. And don't try to tell me I only think that because he's Jewish. Nobody mentioned that, bro. You brought that up. I think that because he's a genocide-denying, IDF simp, Israel defender. He says, this sub fell off, man. It used to be about hating Ethan and supporting the crew. Motherfucker, I still watch H3 and subscribe, and I'm still a member because I love the crew. Zach is annoying, though. Now, interestingly, this man loves everybody on the crew except Zach.
How you doing, comrade?
Now, again, I didn't bring up Judaism. That was something he brought up. But what does me and Zach have in common?
That's a good point.
That the other crew members don't have.
I wonder what that could be.
Circumcised?
We are circumcised.
That's
we
true.
both have been
Although
bar
AB's circumcised. I know that.
Yeah. We both have been bar mitzvahed.
Oh, shit.
Oh, maybe it's just people that have bar mitzvahs, yeah.
Oh, I know.
We're Jewish.
Oh.
A few reasons, he said. It's ugly. They employ too many people for their size, and they produce far too many new pieces. Hila is cringe. Hila is also
Jewish.
She's Jewish.
Yeah. Watch out for those Z's, Casey. And my name's Zach, so I got like a double Z.
You're Z, the Z man. This one.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, gee whiz. hold on, I need a minute. This one left me speechless. At a certain point, violence is the only reasonable response to oppression. Fika you gonna do about it? And he puts a Hamas headband on love.
Yeah, I still stand by that one.
So that's my boy North Star Radio, who is a hidden snark user / obsessive freak who is making content that is biased against me. And also apparently he hates Jewish people.
That was the day my master plan began. The day you chose, publicly and proudly, to take on the role of defending the genocidal Israeli state and began smearing anyone who challenged you as a bigot. The day you set yourself on the path I had already laid out. That was phase 1 of your crash out.
A lot of people have been saying that this is the hot new phrase from the kids, crashing out. Hassan was on a stream saying that I'm having a, quote, narcissistic crash out. I don't know what exactly that means. But people say, man, you must really lost your mind. And after some self-reflection, I want to say that I apologize for nothing.
It wasn't easy at first. I was one of the first socialists you tried to discredit this way, one of the few you marked as an anti-Semite for daring to criticize you, long before you turned on Hassan. But I stood my ground, because the truth was worth fighting for.
And it seems to have like a neutral title, but I think everybody noticed as they were watching through it, even Hassan, I think, commented on it. This video is a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
You had mentioned you had watched it.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. It is biased towards Hassan. It's all about how you kind of screwed everything up, and pretty much the core of the videos that you became like a debate pervert who then challenged Hassan and lost.
Even Hassan was getting like frustrated watching it, and he was confused, and he was like, "This is fucking weird."
Yeah, Hassan didn't like the video at all, from what I recall. He thought it was weird, and the more it went on, the more he kind of like disliked it.
Oh, I gotta go. I gotta finish. I'll finish this tomorrow. I gotta do the podcast. Personal news-wise, I ended the broadcast. We watched a YouTube video that was really good, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's by Comrade Casey in the chat, also known as, I believe, North Star Radio. Is that what it is? Is that what his YouTube name is? I forget.
And just as I had predicted, you never truly respected Hassan Piker after ending Leftovers, no matter how much you pretended otherwise. You were simply waiting for a solid catalyst, an excuse to finally burn that bridge too. And when it came, you didn't hesitate. You denounced Hassan as a terror supporter, a communist propagandist, a raging anti-Semite. This was phase 2 of your crash out.
I did text him a couple weeks ago after I saw the clip of him saying that he had no problem with Hezbollah. I texted him that I thought it was pretty disappointing and disturbing the way that he was hyping up Hezbollah. In fact, we haven't spoken in a few months. We've spoken very little since the show ended. I've been taking these stupid little pot shots at him in Instagram stories and stuff. Something happened over the past few days that really fucking set me off and made me get determined to finally just do this once and for all. I am seeing a concerning rise in anti-Semitism and a normalization of it. I don't think Hassan is anti-Semitic, but I do think that stuff he does contribute to it. Didn't call you a vicious anti-Semite.
Well, never say never.
Well, I think he's. I think he's.
You've definitely called him an anti-Semite many times.
Vicious is different. I think he propagates anti-Semitism. It made me think of this tweet from our wonderful Houthi pirate, the cute Houthi pirate that Hassan interviewed, and I remembered this tweet he put out. Just a cute tweet from our favorite Houthi. Same people telling me to kill myself. Love this guy, and that's true. They do. They love him. Hassan interviewed him. He hypes him up even as recent as like this week. This is a tweet he put out. The execution that we will carry out on all Zionists. This kid is a rampant anti-Semite and a violent Houthi terrorist. This kind of rhetoric, frankly, disgusts and scares me. People call me a Zionist. People call my wife a Zionist. It's my family. It's my children's life. And this is a guy someone who I considered a friend, is talking about how cute and funny and awesome he is. And here is Hassan, their darling creator, has tons of ads running on his channel, showing to his audience that Houthis are awesome. For whatever reason, I find a lot of anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, weird, obsessive harassment is pretty much 80% Hassan fans. There's nobody on the entire platform to call him out. Nobody. They've all been banned. They've all been banned. Nobody. There is not a single dissenting voice with his fucking straight up radical, anti-American, anti-Semitic fucking pro-China, pro-Russia, pro-terrorism takes. This is fringe, psychotic shit that is not normal. And it is the only acceptable voice on Twitch. Explain that to me. How is there not one dissenting voice on that entire platform? And this has really contributed to a lot of extremism being normalized. Is because young people are on Twitch, they go to Hassan and they think this is normal. And it's the only option. You can't even click over to someone else who's like, actually, this is why Hassan's wrong. It doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist.
Phase 1 was simple. Bait the hook. Get you to expose yourself. And you did, publicly, spectacularly. But phase 2, that was psychological. I didn't need to make you look bad anymore. I just had to make sure you felt ignored. That's why I told Hassan, don't respond. Don't give Ethan the fight he wants.
He's been shitting on you on his members only streams. I don't care. I don't care. Bro literally shat on you yesterday and his coworker for saying from the river to the sea, sorry dog. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care. And neither should you. I personally don't even care if he's like calling me out or whatever. I heard that like people were saying that Ethan talked about me on his podcast today or some shit like that. I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
No matter how desperate you got, he stayed silent. Not because he was afraid, not because he didn't have a response, because silence was the response. And that silence drove you insane.
Hassan can't watch a single point I made. He just needs to fucking call me crazy and say I'm hallucinating. Zero accountability. That's so cowardly, man. At least watch it. Hassan, I'm sad to say, did not watch any of it. He didn't watch a single point I made. When I get criticized, I pull it up and I watch the fucking criticism. Hassan opens Comrade Casey tweets and snark posts and reads their interpretation of my video. The guy is such a coward, dude. He still has not responded. This man takes the opportunity to watch every single Ethan hate video on stream in its entirety. I don't think I've watched one hate video on Hassan because it's fucking pathetic. But he manages to do it every day, pretty much every Ethan hate video, of which we all know there's a lot.
You'd already burned bridges with Frogan, with me, with the Leftovers audience, and now Hassan was slipping away too. No matter how many times you baited him, he refused to acknowledge you. And the more he ignored you, the more irrelevant you felt, the more invisible you became. For a man like you, a man who lives for reaction, for engagement, that was unbearable. But while Hassan stayed silent, he wasn't blind. I made sure of that.
Anyway, this is Ethan Klein of the Rise of Liberal Islamophobia.
Before you ever released the content nuke, I compiled every deranged thing you'd said in defense of Israel, the things you thought no one had noticed, and put them into a single video. Hassan watched it. For the first time, he saw what you really were.
Frankly, there are a lot of Palestinians, right, in the area. And once the Palestinians outnumber the Jews, basically...
Like, this is just great replacement. You understand that, right?
It's going to be a secular country? You mean Hamas, the Islamic fundamentalist group?
I haven't seen this video. What the is this? I don't even know where this is from, but this is a ridiculous video.
By the way, segregation is not real. There's 20% of the population in Israel is Palestinian, full citizens, integrated in all levels of work.
I'm beginning to realize that I just didn't see a lot of Ethan's commentary after the Leftovers fallout, which led me to assume that he wasn't doing straightforward pro-Israel propaganda. Because this right here is just straight up Hasbara.
But still, he didn't respond. That was the brilliance of it. He waited. And as the silence dragged on, the pressure built until you finally cracked.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a Weasley little fucking liar. He's just straight up lying. He's just lying right now. In fact, this is a lie that he keeps saying, is that I'm somehow aligning myself with Keemstar.
You not only continued framing Hassan as some kind of communist terrorist sympathizer, but pushed the narrative harder, louder. You weren't just lashing out anymore. You were building a case, a manifesto.
Any laws that we can go after Hassan for? Are you familiar with that? Has he broken any domestic terror laws or... No, probably not domestic terror laws, but like inciting. I mean, what can we do about that?
Because you thought if you laid it all out, if you compiled every petty grievance, every distorted memory, every talking point into one massive piece of content, you could force him to engage. That was the birth of the content nuke.
Also, I have been teasing a work on a video I've been working on, or a special project, let's say. I have spent every waking moment on this project. And,
except for when you take care of your kids, right?
I am in such a state of relief knowing that everything on my project is backed up. Nothing is going to stop this video from happening. I've spent way too much time on this to not make sure it's perfect in every way. So I've delayed the release again to next week. It's pretty much done, but I want all the time that I need to go over every minute of this nearly 2-hour long odyssey in what's probably, no, not probably, it's my biggest project I've ever done in my long YouTube career.
This is my first project like this in so long, Dan. And the world is waiting.
But what you didn't realize is that was my plan all along. I wanted you to crack. I wanted you to gather all your worst takes, your flimsiest arguments, and your pettiest grievances into one massive public self-own. Because I knew that once you did, once you pushed all your chips in, that's when the real spiral would begin. And you walked right into it.
The solution to that would always be education and offering more
re-education?
Re-education, certainly, yeah.
If putting capitalists in re-education camps isn't disturbing enough, I started to notice that Hassan was carrying a lot of...
First of all, where did he say that? Oh my God, where did he say that? Second of all, why is this giving high school video projects? Everybody, you need to go home and make a YouTube video. All right.
They've also set up landmines in agricultural spots, making the fields virtually worthless.
That's an interesting claim, isn't it? So let's check that out. You can immediately tell there's something weird here, because it's like citing the Yemen army saying this, and the Yemen army is the deeply unpopular Yemeni government that basically the entire country rebelled against. Let's look up this outlet. Who is Arab News? Arab News is an English language newspaper published in Saudi Arabia, and it is owned by Turki bin Salman Al Saud, the brother of the ruling crown prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. This is Ethan Klein's source, a Saudi government propaganda outlet. This is one of the greatest minds of our time, clearly.
The content nuke was supposed to be your magnum opus. Nearly 2 hours of self-pity, delusion, and projection. A desperate attempt to force the world, and especially Hassan, to finally pay attention. And in a way, it worked. You got the attention you craved, but not the kind that brings validation or victory. You got the kind that brings reckoning. Once the nuke dropped, everything that had been simmering boiled over. Hassan finally responded, not with indifference, not with mockery, but with pure rage. The silence you mistook for weakness had only sharpened the blade, and when it came down hard.
You literally have an intellectual disability if you think that, like, I am fearful of watching an hour and 40-minute video made by a dude who literally thought Roe v. Wade was the gay one. Last week, when I'm watching children get mutilated every goddamn day, I think it's a pathetically selfish way to approach that conversation from the personal feelings of a rich 100 millionaire sitting in a Bel Air mansion talking about his own goddamn feelings. God damn, how selfish, how delusional, how stupid to just like think that anyone outside of your marginal cult that you have whittled away over and over again is going to look at the situation and go, yeah, you know what, dude, you are actually right. You've totally convinced me that baby murder, unlimited baby murder is all right now, actually. That like people who call that sort of behavior out are all seemingly radical Islamist extremist terrorists who I will assume are being funded by Qatar.
You didn't just lose a debate. You lost the last shred of credibility that allowed people to take you seriously. But the fallout didn't end there. It couldn't, because that was only the beginning. Your housekeeper sued you, and CPS came knocking. Both entirely out of my hands, I should add. If I had to guess, that was your estranged housekeeper settling some unfinished business.
My former housekeeper, Elizabeth, her name's in the complaint, filed a lawsuit for, I think, the charge is wrongful termination. Her allegation is that she needed time off to get her hernia treated, and then we just fired her. This morning, we got a visit from Child Protective Services.
Reddit completely turned on you, which was entirely me.
There's like this faux moi, there's YouTube drama, there's snark, and now I even started seeing it on this subreddit. There was an attempt that seemed to all be somehow run by these people, and it's come to the point where it's just like completely non-stop, relentless. The harassment that me and Ela are receiving is just genuinely comparable.
I'm seeing people say, I'm looking into it right now real quick, but that these subs all share common mod.
Yes, Reddit is fucking sleeping at the wheel. This shit that they're allowing is so shocked. They have the same moderators on all of these fucking huge subreddits that are just weaponized harassment. There has to be a way to hold Reddit accountable. At this point, I can't even blame the snarkers. It's just they are enabling it, they're allowing it, and as far as I can tell, they are participating in it.
I mean, I practically begged Steve Huffman to watch what you were saying about him, and as soon as he did, it was over for you.
Where's Reddit headquarters? San Francisco?
Maybe do this after the show?
Well, I'm saying I'll go there and do a show in front of their fucking office. I'll do what I have to do. These people are with my children. I will go and I will fucking stay there as long as I need to, and I will do the show in front of Reddit headquarters and dedicate every fucking episode to destroying every executive officer there and dragging them to fucking hell. That's my point. I no longer care, right? I don't care. I will drag these people into hell with me. That's what I'm saying I'll do. Go through every in detail of this dude's life.
Noah Samson released a video dissecting the nuke after I instructed him to, and in your usual fashion, you responded not with arguments, but with a lawsuit.
I don't know how many of you know who this guy Noah Samson is. He's a bread tuber, a lefty, man. He's like a revolutionary who's just waiting for someone else to start the revolution. He made now 2 videos calling me a genocide supporter, provided 0 evidence. I know he wants me to respond to every point in his video, which I will do in a much more formal setting.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Some sort of symposium?
No, he said, well, he started his second video by saying Ethan's threatened to sue me. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you.
Oh.
I'm literally going to sue you for defamation.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
And I can't wait for you. You know, you can do your cute little videos and all that kinds of business on your YouTube channel, but when it comes to, I'd love to see you reason out in a court document about how I and Mudahar support genocide. I really look forward to that.
And just when it seemed like there might be a moment to breathe, iDubbbz released Content Cop H3, a clean, methodical dissection of your entire public unraveling. That was the final straw.
Well, what happened? There's more bad news?
I do have some more bad news for you. Your old friend iDubbbz just released a video.
Yeah?
It's about you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. That is no, it can't be. It actually can't be. Holy dude.
It sure is.
Oh my God. Holy
And from a quick scrub through, I think it's gonna be a little spicy.
Oh my God! Like what? Why? What would I do to like fucking? What kind of fucking like, bro? What kind of cowardly bullshit is this? You bring on people who are fucking Denims and Frogan? I actually can't believe that he did this.
And it wasn't easy convincing old iDubbbz to betray his old friend. I really had to go above and beyond to achieve such a feat. And that really was the cherry on top, the final catalyst of chaos in my master plan. All I had to do now was sit back and watch my child take his first steps. Faced with the collapse of your image, your reputation, and your authority, you reverted to the only strategy you had ever found success from. You returned to the debate stage. The place I had been dragging you towards this entire time. The stage you tried to meet me on, but I refused. You weren't ready.
You want to call in? I'll talk to North Star Radio. Get on the radio. Let's talk. I want to know why you think I'm a Zionist. Go on.
KETA.
Maybe he has a better explanation than money and dating.
He probably does.
You told yourself that this was a battlefield where you had once held control, so you challenged Sam Cedar, a friendly opponent.
Oh, by the way, update. Everybody has been raving, has been pushing for a long time. Hassan will not debate me, but he's been saying, you don't need to talk to me. Talk to approved Jew, sanctioned official Jew friend, Sam Cedar. And after watching his crew disparage me for the 100 billionth time and just repeating like Hassan talking points mindlessly, I decided it's time to reach out to Sam Cedar to set it up. We're going to finally have a clash of the Jewish minds. 2 great Jewish minds, mano y mano.
Is it a clash? What happened?
I don't think it'll be a clash at all.
Someone you thought shared your views, but he didn't.
So let me show you an example of something, and again, I know you don't care about the drama. To me, this isn't drama. This is one of the biggest, most influential streamers spreading something that I think is really dangerous. And you can agree or disagree, but it's a short clip, but I'll show it to you, and you tell me what you think.
Any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi. You shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher, as Felix was posting.
Now, to me, that seems like extremely dangerous, dehumanizing language about what could arguably be 70% of the Jewish diaspora, and certainly probably people you know in your family.
Would I have said at any point in his life, someone's life? But I just think this is such a petty, like the idea that we're going to police. Hold on, let me respond. You want me to respond on this?
No,
I don't. Like I say, I don't care about this. But if you're going to force me to respond to it, what Israel is doing right now is so far beyond the idea that someone says any time in your life or not or whatnot. He's talking about Zionism, and frankly, I think it's very difficult for me to understand how someone could have positive feelings at this time. Now, you want to say in the past and what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, I will grant you at any time in your life that is too broad a step. But wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
You go in and you're making this about anti-Semitism by doing this hopscotch about a poll that people had positive feelings that Jewish people do, and then therefore he is anti-Semitic. And honestly, that type of conflation I think is so dangerous and so disingenuous. I don't want to get too passionate about this, but I will tell you something. I have had a guy who went to my bar mitzvah, my sister's bar mitzvah, my kid's bar mitzvah, sat at Passover with me 3 or 4 times, call my father and ask him if I'm anti-Semitic. Now, this is just one, that is just an example, an illustration of conflating when he's clearly talking about Zionism. Was it hyperbole to say any time in life, whatever? The fact of the matter is this conflation is dangerous for Jews. It is a fig leaf and a way of weaponizing anti-Semitism that has enabled Donald Trump to do the shit he's doing, that has enabled the slaughter of thousands upon thousands of children and women and men, for that matter. It is not keeping Israelis safe. And this type of conflation, Ethan, is what I find far more irresponsible, frankly, than the idea that he said positive any time. I mean, you do a show Sam, 4 hours a day. He does a show 5 or, as far as I could tell, 15 hours a day. And to focus in on that one tiny clause.
This is not one tiny clip, Sam. Well, you don't know. This is a totality of behavior.
But you wanted
and by
to
the way,
bring
it's
this
easy,
up.
and I appreciate that you can hand wave it away and say that it doesn't.
No, I'm not hand waving it away.
Well, you kind of are.
I'm saying this.
You're saying
conflation,
it doesn't. You're saying actually, I'm wrong for caring about it.
No, yes. In fact, I'm saying this conflation is incredibly dangerous.
Frankly, I think it's dangerous to. What I perceive as hand waving what's happening here. I know you said you aren't doing that.
I'm not hand waving.
You're doing the opposite. You're endorsing
decades of thought about this.
The point is you're saying that this is not dangerous. How dare you care about this? I think it's dangerous to.
I'm not saying that at all.
I personally, I mean, Jewish people have a collective memory of trauma, Sam, and it starts a certain way. It starts with dehumanizing language, like saying you're not fit to walk a dog. I mean, what are we doing here? It's irresponsible language.
He's not talking about Jews.
He's talking about 73% of Jewish people.
No, you said that.
No, that's a poll that's readily available.
No, you made that connection. He did not. Because we have millions upon millions of members of Kufi. We have millions upon millions in this country of evangelicals who also believe the same thing.
Does your dad have?
You cannot say it's anti-Semitism.
Could you describe?
You cannot say it's anti-Semitism if you're also including millions upon millions, far more Christians than Jews.
Another thing is like to take it even further. I mean, Hassan pretty much like openly supports Hamas.
Let's not talk about Hassan.
You know, there's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza.
There's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I just think that's interesting. It's pretty fucked up, don't you think?
Do I think it's fucked up?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the point. Like,
well, I mean, do
you think anything would be standing anymore?
Well, bomb shelters are underground. I mean, they would definitely be a lot safer.
I've seen what happened to tunnels under hospitals.
Your statement is, so you say there were tunnels under hospitals?
Israel built the ones under the the first one that they went into. They built it when they were occupying Gaza.
Are you and right? That's true of that one. But I mean, they have a vast tunnel network, obviously, as everybody knows.
The performance was embarrassing.
Let's start with a little icebreaker here. I know we're both fans of Tim Pool. Okay, let's just enjoy this image together. Tim Pool recently at a wedding.
Wait, what?
And can you see? Can you see that?
Did he get married?
Well, I think he's attending a wedding.
Okay.
And he's very
Is he
formally
stalling?
dressed, except he appears to be wearing a beanie.
I would. I'm
God,
aware
he's
of his
filibustering!
beanie attachment.
Bro!
So I don't know.
Why are you filibustering the
Fine look for our
conversation?
good friend Tim Pool there.
But you assured yourself it was a fluke. Your next performance would be far better because you came prepared. You had your content nuke pulled up on its own tab, ready to fire whenever necessary. But it wasn't a fluke, because your next debate, the one with Hassan, was also a disaster I designed.
Hello, everybody. It's your host, Ethan Klein. It's the H3 show. The date is the 2nd of May, and it is the long-awaited Leftovers reunion. How nice. We're back together.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Hassan Piker.
Hello, Hassan Piker.
What's going on?
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
That's what I'm doing as well.
Every argument fell flat. Every talking point exposed your ignorance and desperation. The authoritative commentator you imagine yourself to be was gone, replaced by someone grasping for relevance while the entire internet watched, disgusted.
You seemingly have a lot of grievances not pertaining to the actual issue at hand. But
I don't know. The issue, my friend, the issue at hand is your behavior.
No, I think the issue at hand is the genocide.
Well, we seem to be coming at this from two different angles, which is great.
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
What is?
What? Yeah, it was on the list. You're lying.
Yeah. I got a free Rolex hat
dude.
from a friend of mine. I still wear it every now and then.
Yeah, and you're so. Oh wow, who knew?
What? Destiny?
What?
Ethan, I don't think
Hassan?
I didn't bring up Destiny. You did.
By your authority, I will decide who's hallucinating. Hassan? Want to do propaganda? remember?
Ethan.
Hassan. Please calm down. You're getting worked up.
I don't know why you're behaving in such a childish manner. Ethan, I don't think you want to go down this route.
Really? Which ones?
The book that I'm referencing is from the Iron Wall.
All right, listen, it's 5 o'clock. Like I said, I have a family to go to. I have 3 kids and a wife, and I know that you have a fucking cool-ass race car bed to sleep in, and I hope you enjoy that.
Okay, man. Thank you. Have a good one. I hope this was productive. Dan, he needs you more than you need him. Stop babying this man, please. He needs you more than you need him. Stop babying him.
Well, I know that's true, but I don't baby him.
Come on.
Leaving many fans still holding on by a measly thread to purge you of any and all existence in their lives.
My name is Kara. I'm a Fallen Age 3 fan, as you would call it. I used to consume your content daily. You were one of my favorite content creators. I've purchased from Teddy Fresh. I loved the whole team. It just felt like a community. I was a lot younger then. What shifted for me did occur post-October 7.
The person you had become, the nasty, disgusting, Giardia-infested manlet you'd become, was on full display to the entire human race.
Hassan, being an advocate for Palestine does not absolve you of criticism. Stop with the silliness.
Claiming that they are anti-Semitic. No, this does not. Because your criticisms are ridiculous. My point I'm trying
that's
to make
kind of up
here
to other people
is
to
that
decide at this
your
point.
Your criticisms are in your own mind. Like you have hallucinated an alternative
By the way, gaslighting,
reality.
anti-Semitic trope, this is what dog whistles are. You whistle to other people and you have, it's subtle enough that you have plausible deniability so that when you get accused of being anti-Semitic, you can call the accuser crazy, which is exactly what you're doing. You are a anti-Semite, and you've been caught out 3 different times calling me crazy for very viable, very credible examples of anti-Semitism that you should at least be able to admit are at least not insane. Maybe a misunderstanding, but not insane. But no, according to you, they're all hallucinations. So go ahead and tell me why you're not dog whistling.
Yes, because Ethan, because people having an issue with your statements and with your coverage on, as a prominent content creator with a relatively progressive audience, your coverage has entirely focused on
wrong.
your own personal feelings.
Not entire.
And a lot of misplaced paranoia from people who are
There you go,
criticizing
dog whistle.
You literally think
Can we get a whistle
people
soundbite every time
criticizing
he
you
calls me
not
paranoid or
liking you
hallucinating?
is anti-Semitism.
You got a
That's not
whistle?
the case. I used to like you. I don't know anymore. And I don't think it's because
Well,
of
I know.
anti-Semitism.
I definitely don't
develop
like you.
anti-Semitism after doing a
let
podcast
me stand
with you
on
for 2
business and say
years.
I think you're a terrible person and a liar, and I don't like you at all.
I know. I still
know.
wish you well. I do. I wish you well, and I really do.
I wish
hope.
everybody well. Everybody, be well.
And here's the truth you still refuse to accept. None of this was random. None of it was coincidence. This spiral, this collapse, this crash out, it didn't just happen to you. It was designed. The lawsuits, the rage, the content nuke, the public collapse, the debates, it all followed the path I set in motion. Not for clout, not for personal revenge, but as a reckoning. A reckoning for how you defended a genocidal state, for how you slandered Palestinians, socialists, and anyone who stood against you. For how you tried to turn every criticism into a personal attack, into a frivolous lawsuit because you have 100 million to your name, instead of facing the consequences of your actions. Ethan, you thought you were spiraling out of control, but I need you to understand something. The wheel never left my hands. The crash out is complete, and the prophecy has been fulfilled.